One, two, three, 1, 2, 3 in the place to be. Once again, it's your player partner from the bottom of the map. Um, just jumping in real quick, man. Um, Wanted to do something. Tuned into somebody's show this week, and it kind of got me thinking about some stuff. But as always, before we jump in, please hit that like button, um, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. All right. Um, So shout out to big shout out always to South Coast Kane, man. Just doing the history and doing the knowledge on Miami Hurricanes football. Um, it's a lot of people who have been Canes fans for, 20, 30, 40 years, right? They was there when Schnellenberger came and they was there through the Jimmy Johnson and Dennis Erickson years. Then you got some of the millennial fans who came during the Butch and the Coker years, and then, a lot of other fans who came afterwards. But South Coast, man, he always puts on for the history of the program and really knowing the history and really knowing um, what's been going on with the program and why we get to the places we're at with players, with coaches, athletic directors, presidents, changes and all of that stuff, right? So I said all that to be like, tuned into a few people shows this weekend. People were just really juiced over beating Bethune Cookman, right? And a win is a win, I guess. And I chime in here and there because I don't want to be like the resident hater or the resident doubter. Kind of am with a little bit more facts of how the game played out and kind of some of the historical um, what we would say patterns, right? Some of the historical patterns and some of the rebuttals I got about Mario and this team is that the talent is different and we believe in the talent. And what it made me do is made me kind of go back and look at the talent Mario inherited all the way until now. So Mario came in 2022, right? 2022, we was done with Manny, right? Get Manny up out of here. We was done with him. So what I want to do, I just want to go through the roster real quick. Nothing super in depth. Just want to go through the roster real quick. And y'all, it doesn't seem to me that our talent got worse. And I feel like we've kind of all had top talent every year that Mario's been here. Is really what gets produced on the football field has really been a direct reflect of the coaching. Um, I feel like every year since Mario got here, we talked about what the talent. Oh man, we got the talent. We got talent here. We got talent there. I'm gonna go through some of these names, and some of these names are familiar, and some of the names you may have forgotten because they transferred and they went on to other places. But you tell me, from 2022 to 2025, we haven't had talent, top 10 talent, or talent enough to be a top 10 team that at least could have made the ACC championship game, had multiple 10 plus win seasons without having a Heisman worthy, quarterback. So let's go through this real quick. So this is the 2022 roster. 2022 Miami ended up going. They lost to. We started out the season. We beat Bethune Cookman 70-13. TVD Tyler Van Dyke is now the guy, right? Tyler Van Dyke is the guy. That's who we're rolling with. He's taking over the spot, right? So come out first game, Tyler Van Dyke, um, 70-13. Then we beat Southern Miss, and then the bottom falls out. So we start off 2022 2-0, and then we lose to Texas A&M. All right, not a bad loss. We lose to Middle Tennessee State. My, have we forgotten that loss? We didn't just lose, we got blowed out 45-31. We lose to North Carolina. We lose to Duke 45-21. We lose to Florida State 45-3. We lose to Clemson 40-10. We lose to Pittsburgh 42-16. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 losses. 5-8. All right. Tell me, is this talent on this team 2022 a 5-8 team? All right. James Williams, safety. You know what he turned out to be. Tariq Stevenson. You know what he turned out to be. Don Chaney. We loved Don Chaney when he came in. Daryl Porter. You know, he got picked on a lot, but serviceable. Javante Citizen. We thought he was going to be something. Never really turned out to be much. Restrepo. Frank Ladson. Frank Ladson had came over from, I believe, Clemson. We thought he was going to be this or that. But, you know, all right. It's a name. DJ Ivy. All right. We know about DJ Ivy. TVD. You know, he was coming in like he was going to be the guy. Corey Flagg. Ja'Cory Brown. Rashard Smith. Jafari Harvey on the line. Jacoby George. Isaiah Horton. Our backup quarterback was Peyton Machota, who was, you know, a guy we thought was going to be something. Let's see who else. We had Markeith Williams, who just got dismissed from the team. Jaden Harris, who was, you know, a decent corner. Henry Parrish, who came over from Ole Miss. To Corey Couch. He was kind of that guy. Jaleel Skinner at tight end. He was super nice. Ended up transferring to Louisville. He's been doing his thing over there. Cam Kitchens. All right. Andres Borregales. He was solid. You know, this is one of our all-time great kickers. Wesley Bassane. He's still, you know, playing. Let's see who else we had. Chance Williams. All right. We got some names here. Cyrus Moss. Caleb Johnson. Let's see who else we got. DJ Scaife on the line. Jacob Lichtenstein. Defensive lineman. He was super nice. Inez Cooper. Leonard Taylor. Beeston on the line. Let's see who else we got. Zion Nelson, offensive lineman. Jalen Rivers, offensive lineman. Who else we got out here? Let's see. Elijah Arroyo's on this team. Jared Harrison Hunt, you know, on the defensive line. Michael Redding, receiver. He wasn't great, but Will Mallory, you know, he was. Kobe Young was a dog at receiver. Akeem Messador on the line. Jalik Kelly on the defensive line. Messador also on the line. Ahmad Moten on the defensive line. Will Hutchinson, our punter, was we had a good punter. So that team, the talent of that team, went 5-8. Now let's see the difference between 2022 and 2023. All right, we could say that was Mario's first year. He had to get his feet wet. 2023, we start off a little bit better. We beat Miami of Ohio. We beat Texas A&M 48-33. We smashed Bethune-Cookman 48-7. We beat Temple 41-7. And then the debacle at Georgia Tech. And then the bottom falls out again. We lose to Georgia Tech. We lose to Clemson. TVD gets hurt. We beat Clemson. Emory comes in. They beat Clemson in 2 overtimes. TVD comes back. We beat Virginia in overtime. Then we lose to North Carolina State. We lose to Florida State. We lose to Louisville. And we beat Boston College. And we lose. How in the hell do we lose to Rutgers in the Pinstripe Bowl? We finished the season 7-6. Now let's look at the 2023 roster. Now you tell me, is this 2023 roster, talent-wise, a 7-16 that loses to Rutgers and all those other teams I named. So now we got Corey Couch, another year in the program. Daryl Porter, another year in the program. Akeem Mesidor, another year in the program. Jacoby George, Keontra Smith, Ray Joseph. Okay, that's like lightning in a bottle right there. Okay, we working with something. Cam Kitchens, another year in the program. Damari Brown, supposed to be, but we don't know. It's just a name. He's a 4-star at that. Xavier Restrepo, another year in the program. Joshua Horton, Michael Redding, another year in the program. Markeith Williams, another year in the program. Tyler Harrell, we don't know what he's going to be, but he's a 3-star. Isaiah Horton, okay. So we saying some names here. We still got Emory, Jaden Harris, another year in the program. We like Jaden Harris. James Williams, another year in the program. Ooh, who's this beast? Mark Fletcher. Ooh, he's a beast that's waiting to be unleashed. You know what I'm saying? Jaden Davis. Jaden Davis came over from, I want to say, Georgia? I can't remember. But we like Jaden Davis. Now we got KJ Cloyd at linebacker. Malik Bryant, linebacker. Oh, remember this guy? Another lightning in the bottle running back, Christopher Johnson. Y'all be talking so much about Lyles now, but that's what Christopher Johnson was. A speed back that could take it to the house anytime he touched the ball. Christopher Johnson, I think, is at SMU now. Go figure. Let's see. AJ Allen. Another transfer. Another guy that, if he gets enough touches, he's a playmaker. Borgalis, another year in the program. Basaint, another year in the program. Raul Aguirre. Okay, we like this guy. Linebacker. Okay. We working with something. Chase Smith. Who is this beast named? Ruben Bain. Oof. All right. Francisco Mayoga. All right. We working with something. Luis Cristobal on the offensive line. Matt Lee, transfer on the offensive line. Okay, like, I'm not saying, like, I'm going through the roster one by one. Like, these names we got some names here. Jacob Lichtenstein, another year in the program on the defensive line. Leonard Taylor, Beeston on the line, another year in the program. Now we got Branson Dean on the defensive line. Zion Nelson, another year on the offensive line. The younger Mayoga, baby Mayoga, he's all world on the line. Okay, so Jalen Rivers, another year on the line. Javian Cohen. Okay, so I'm starting at Arnaz Cooper, another year on the line. We're starting to say McCoy. Oh, Elijah Arroyo, Shamir Kirk, who was supposed, like Cam McCormick. He already had a wife and 3 kids and pension and 401k. But we was like, okay, Riley Williams. So I'm naming tight ends that could be number 1 tight ends at any program they go to. Ma Moten, another year in the program. So I gave you 2 years of Mario with top tier talent. And every year, I remember that year where we were talking about TVD and the talent we got at running back and Chris Johnson, and he can explode, and Ray Joseph, he can explode, and Bain and Leonard Taylor and offensive line. We got big dogs down there. We should make some noise. The team went 7-6. 2024. You know what 2024 was? Started off smoking. Smoke Florida. Smoke Found. Smoke Ball State. Ball State didn't put up no points. 62-0. We had a dog fight with South Florida to halftime, but we ended up putting 50 on South Florida. It took a miracle to beat Virginia Tech. It took a bigger miracle to beat Cal. It took another miracle to beat Louisville. We went put hands and feet in Florida State. We did the same to Duke. Here goes that pesky Georgia Tech again with Haynes King, who can't throw for shit. They're going to run. We can't stop the run. All right, that gives us our first loss, but we're still in it to win it. We went, the score 42-14 against Wake, but not a sloppy win, but we'll take it. Last game of the season, all we got to do is beat lowly Syracuse. And guess what we do? We go up 21-0, put up a stinker in the second half, lose 42-38, have a home game. We in the O. Shout out to Orlando. Shout out to the O. Shout out to, I used to live in Orlando too. So shout out to Orange Blossom Trail. Shout out to Pine Hills, Altamont Springs, all them areas around there. Metro West, all of that. Over there by the Citrus Bowl. You know what I'm saying? I used to be over there all the time. That's one of my stomping grounds when I was in college. We was in Orlando for the Pop-Tart Bowl. That was Orlando. I think it was Orlando. Orlando or Tampa, one of them places. I want to say it was Orlando. And we lose, basically a home game either way. And we lose to Iowa State. Now, real quick, I'm just going to go through the 2024 roster. With who's on this team, that Miami team goes 10-3. 10-3 now. With the talent we have on that team. We got Powell at safety. Michelle Powell. JoJo Trader, at receiver. Francisco Mayoga, another year in the program. Mr. Cam can do it all. Ward, our Heisman, number one pick at quarterback. Daryl Porter, who got picked on a lot, but another year in the program. Jacoby George, a lot of y'all like him, a lot of y'all didn't. Said he made a lot of great plays and bonehead plays at the same time, but he was all ACC. King Messador, another year in the program. Reuben Bain, another year in the program, beasting. Mark Fletcher, another year in the program, beasting. Ray Joseph, another year in the program, should be beasting. Damari Brown, we have now figured that he sucks. But does he suck because he has no talent? Or does he suck because not being coached up? Damian Martinez, transfer from Oregon State, is a beast. Xavier Restrepo, all-time leading receiver now. Elijah Arroyo. Now we got Elijah Lofton, another beast. We got Tyler Barron. He's a beast. Transfer. Simeon Barrow, transfer beast. We got Elijah Alston. Sam Brown, transfer. Marquise Lightfoot. Markeith Williams, another year in the program, but we're expecting him to be more. Armando Blanc, we finally flipped him. Supposed to be that guy. Chance Robinson at receiver. Nye Carr at receiver. Oh, Jordan Lyle. Oh, we love Jordan Lyle. Love Jordan Lyle. He's just Chris Johnson all over again. Let's see who else we got. Chris Wheatley Humphrey, who we're starting to see, and he just AJ Allen all over again. OJ Frederick, is he better than Tyreek Stevenson? I don't know. Is he? He's a cornerback. Is he better than Jaden Davis? I would say he could be better. Maybe not, by light years, but they weren't that far off. Wesley Bassett, and we had Cam Kitchens and James Williams at safety. Raul Aguirre, another year in the program. Chase Smith. Who else we got? Luis Cristobal, another year in the program. Little baby Mayoga, another year in the program. Jalen Rivers, another year in the program. Markel Bell, Arnaz Cooper, another year in the program. Matthew McCoy, another year in the program. Cam McCormick, he now has 4 kids, 2 houses, a trailer, and he has a retirement and a college fund for his kids because he's been in college for 15 years now. But another year in the program. Let's see who else we got. Ahmad Moten, another year in the program. So y'all gonna have to show me these players that are just so much better than what we've had in the recent past. It don't look from talent wise, it don't look much different to me. It might look like the talent might be a little bit dropped off a little bit. And I don't want to, I've always said it's never been about the talent. I feel like Miami gets great talent every year. There's not a year where they're not getting quality talent. You see what the players do when they go to other schools. You see what Romello Brinson is doing at SMU. You see what Brashard Smith did at SMU. You see what Jaleel Skinner, Don Chaney did at Louisville. Jaleel Skinner did at Louisville. So you see what our transfers go and do, and it's not because they're not good. I really think it's the coaching. And when you got this type of talent, you match the coaching with the talent, and you get a perennial contender every single year, and not a perennial pretender. Because we've been looking at Miami being a pretender since maybe like 2005. Because coming off those national championships, it should have been national championships. We got cheated by Ohio State, but coming off of that, we still, was looking to be like a powerhouse team. We got Brock Berlin, and y'all know all those years. But we were still looking to be a perennial powerhouse, and then it slowly just turned into talent unrealized on the field. And if we could take the talent that we have, because you can't keep everybody, right? A lot of the talent goes to Florida State, Dalvin Cook went to Florida State, and we got Joseph Yearby. Now, they played in the same backfield, and we know what Dalvin Cook did at Florida State, and Yearby just seemed like he didn't produce enough for us. Kind of the same thing we're looking at, JoJo Trader and Smith at Ohio State. You can't keep everybody, right? But you have enough talent every year to be a dominant team. And to be one of those not Michigan, let me get them out of Alabama, Georgia-esque. We could at least be Clemson of the ACC to where we're, at least considered a contender every year. But this is not what happens. We end up fighting through a season. We end up stumbling across the finish line into a lowly bowl game that we end up losing. And if we win a bowl game, it's like it's a surprise. It's not something we're expecting to happen. So, I guess my question, or is it just we just want to believe that they're better because through 2 games we feel like they're better? Because when we look at the records and the games we played in the past, we started the first couple games in the season. We didn't look at the talent and be like, oh man, we won these games, but we're lacking at talent at this position. We're lacking at talent at that position. We felt like we were good. I know the biggest thing in the years past was like we got to shore up tackling. There were seasons where it looked like, hey man, we might have got this nipped in the bud. But then that dog comes back to bite us again. It looks like we got coaching and time management and use of timeouts nipped in the bud. But that dog comes to bite us again. It looks like we got play calling nipped in the bud. We don't got Josh Gaddis anymore. That was a trial and error. But this old play calling bug is back biting us again. And I'm just not in a place to just believe like we've turned some corner off of a win of Notre Dame, who's starting a brand new quarterback, and we had to pull that out at the end, and Bethune Cookman. I'm not ready. I'm not juiced off of it yet. And when I say that, people are just like, "Oh man, you gotta." I'm just like, I they're gonna do better, um, and that they're going to win the games and close the season out the way that they're supposed to. I really turned into a pessimist with this team because I don't really believe that they're going to do it, and I shouldn't. I think as a fan base, we support the team, but I think the pressure should be on for them to finish the mission, and the pressure should be on the coaching staff to complete the mission and not just to give us lip service. My new thing is like, if you want to be great, play like the greats, model yourself after the greats. And I'm sorry, every time I see something with Nick Saban, and I know Mario isn't Nick Saban, a lot of coaches aren't Nick Saban, but what I really see is that he's one of those guys who didn't let his team become consumed by small success, short term success. So it kept them locked in. You're beating a team 65-10 and you miss a tackle and he's on your ass. Because it conditions your brain to be like, I have to do my job and play the way I'm supposed to play, no matter the opponent, no matter the score. I always stay locked in. It's like if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, right? And it feels like we go through this every year with this team because we haven't held them accountable to a standard. We look to yesteryear, but we're not looking to like what's the standard of now. And I feel like the standard of now could be dominance, consistent dominance, if us as a fan base aren't all gassed and juiced by a few of these wins. And people can want to get into the X's and O's and get into the stats and get into, you know, offensive line and hurries and tackles for loss and strength and conditioning and all of that stuff. All of that shit has to equate to wins, y'all. It has to equate to at the end of the season, we're not stumbling, fumbling, bumbling into another pinstripe bowl, Pop Tart bowl, into another bowl against Wisconsin or Nebraska or some bullshit game because we don't hold the team is not holding themselves accountable. The coaches aren't holding themselves accountable. And I feel like if we're going to be in this place of mediocrity and nobody speaks up about it, then we're just going to keep continuing to be in that place. But that's just my 2 cents on that. Please, y'all give me some response on this. Let me know what you think and how you feel about this team and what they were in the past and moving forward, what you see out of them. All right. As far as the talent, you may feel like the talent was good enough, or you may feel like the talent wasn't good enough. The coaching was good enough, but the talent didn't match. The talent matched, but the coaching didn't match. But tap in with us and let me know how you feel about that, and let me know if I'm tripping. If I'm tripping, let me know. But This your player partner from the bottom of the map. And I'm gone.